Alright, so the Son of Blast is finally getting into a fight in this chapter with a demon level monster. The Son of Blast, whose name is Blue, aka the leader of the Neo Heroes. And I'm gonna be honest, I still don't know what to make of his abilities. And of course, we're gonna go over it and try to make sense of it together. But for sure, he is a beast. And we have yet to see what he's like truly capable of yet. But we'll get to that. Because before that, we're picking up from the end of the previous chapter with Metalbat coming into the fray and easily taking care of a monster, which is expected. I mean, we talked about this before. Metalbat is clearly S-class level. He's extremely powerful, and he has a freaking power suit on, so he's even stronger than he normally is at his base level strength. And as Metalbat is about to go help out another Neo leader in their fight, he notices that Zhoniin and Destro, the two security enforcers of the Neo Heroes, are quietly walking away with the bodies of Zhoniin and Zaytitz, the two Neo leaders that we saw ostensibly get killed in the previous chapter. It was pretty much revealed that these guys weren't strong, and they were just made Neo leaders because of what they brought to the organization rather than their strength. And Metalbat, seeing this and being suspicious, of course, is supposed to be the audience's reaction as well, because we're supposed to be suspicious of this. Like, what's going on here? Why are they taking their bodies away? So I've had a theory as to what's going on here for a while now, and it basically stems from me thinking that these two individuals, Zhoniin and Destro, are actually the two robots that we saw at the very beginning of the series who encountered Hammerhead and said that they were from the organization. This is like them with their human costume on. It said that they are both 94 and 95% cyborgified. And that's crazy because Webby Gaza is only like 71% or something like that, and she's S-class level as we've seen. These guys 94 and 95, so you can imagine how incredibly powerful they must be. They're not even like Neo leaders. They're just enforcers. And that was always suspicious, which makes me think that if they are tied to an organization, which I'm pretty positive that they are, and this isn't spoilers or anything, don't worry, none of this has been revealed yet. This means that the organization is tied to the Neo Heroes, or pulling the strings from the shadows, and them taking the bodies here means that they're just going to turn them into cyborg puppets or something like that. That way they can keep funneling money from Zaytitz and controlling the followers of Zhoniin. Just guessing, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen here. Then we cut away from this sequence and we go to Blue. Like we said, he is finally fighting here, and he's going against this demon level crab monster. So right off the bat, Blue seems to be able to conjure and manipulate energy, or at least it seems that way, because he does like an axe hand thing, and this electrical energy stuff comes to his hands, and then he like chops off one of the claws of the crab. But first, let's talk about our favorite Japanese pop snack subscription box, and that's Tokyo Treat, because this month it's Sakura Spring Snack Fest, and it's filled with springtime treats in honor of the Sakura season. Tokyo Treat boxes also come with a booklet that explain all of the snacks in the box along with Japan and its culture. First, I tried the Sakura Shrimp Rice Crackers. They have this really unique cherry blossom flavor to it that balances with the shrimp rice crackers. Then I tried the Strawberry Cream Cookies. These are super crispy and have a sweet tangy strawberry cream in the center. Then I tried the Sakura Blossom Cake. So this is a soft cake with dough made from cherry blossom leaves. And this pink in the center is actually chocolate. This thing is so good and has a great soft texture to it. Really enjoyed this. Then I tried the Sakura Kit Kats. And it says that it's a creamy chocolate topped with a pop of sweet cherry blossom flavor. And that is true, but it tastes like cake. It's transcending the cherry blossom flavor. So guys, you can get your very own Tokyo Treat box by checking the link in the description, and make sure you use code Zhoniin for $5 off your first box. Thanks, guys. And then he comes down and does like a Black Flash / like Detroit Smash type of motion and conjures even more energy into his fist. And then when he does throw a punch, it like projects, I guess, an energy projectile version of his fist. And then that just completely destroys the crab and its minions too. Like it has like wolf level minions with it. So crazy impressive. Clearly Blue is minimum S-class level, since he was able to just easily take care of a a demon level threat here, which is like the test for you being S-class level. But since he's taking care of it so easily, he is not just bare minimum S-class level, he's probably one of the stronger level S-class guys, at least so far. Now, he also does mention he's discovered that demon levels vary in strength, which of course is true. There's like a hidden ranking system to these disaster levels that we, the fandom, have talked about for years now, and it's like there's low level, mid level, and high levels of all of these disaster levels. It remains to be seen if this was like a low, mid, or high demon. Oh, also, he says this in response to McCoy talking to him on the phone, asking him what he thinks about live combat. After he says the demon line, he says, just because I have the suit, and then it's like an ellipses, and suddenly like this big explosion happens behind him, and he's like, oh crap, that's a big one, I gotta go deal with that. So he wasn't able to end that thought, which is pretty interesting. But that's where the chapter ends. So that being said, I think might give us some insight into what's going on with Blue here. So as we've seen, he can somewhat manipulate energy, or at least it seems that way. Now also, there is a possibility that the suit that he is wearing is allowing him to do this, meaning that he has no powers and that they're exclusively coming from the suit. Now, I don't necessarily think that is the case because, first of all, he's the son of Blast, and we've seen that Blast does have powers. And second of all, I don't think they would make him the leader of the Neo Heroes just because he's the son of Blast if he had no powers. It seems like he does have some kind of powers and that the suit is helping him regulate them or access his powers. Because I'm going to assume that he has a different suit than the rest of the Neo Heroes, or at least it seems that he does. Now, also keep in mind, Blast himself wears a suit as well. They actually have like the same kind of gloves, and the circles on the hands glow the same pretty much. So does that mean that Blast needs the suit to utilize his powers as well? I mean, that remains to be seen. Now, another interesting thing here is that Child Emperor in the previous chapter essentially confirmed that this is Metal Knight's technology. We don't know if Metal Knight is working with the Neo Heroes or if this technology was taken from him. Either way, this is pretty much Metal Knight's technology, even if he didn't just deliberately make it for the Neo Heroes. It's coming from like his schematics. And that ties into kind of a slippery slope, and I don't even know if I should be going into this, but I'll just point it out anyway, because it has to do with retcons, everybody's favorite thing. So in one of the previous Ninja Arc retcons, when we got into Blast's backstory with Empty Void gives some exposition about Blast like soon after he meets him, and he says that Blast was backed by Sitch, who was a part of the Agoni Foundation, but he was also backed by a genius scientist. And that made me think, oh, that's Metal Knight, because who else would it be? I mean, I doubt it's going to be Dr. Kuseno, you know, the guy that made Genos. And I thought, oh, Metal Knight made Blast's suit, and that would make sense because they look the same, or at least the hands do. But I don't want to put too much weight on that because it was retcon. That technically doesn't exist anymore in the canon of the story. The same thing with how Blue's mother is Empty Void's sister. That might never happen again, or maybe it'll be revealed later on. I don't know. We're kind of in lore limbo with all that stuff, but I just want to say that that could all be connected here. At least Metal Knight and how these suits work with Blast and Blue's abilities. Now, another thing is that Blue isn't using the abilities that we've seen of Blast. Blast is like on a whole other level. He's like manipulating space, time, and gravity and all that stuff, which makes me think that maybe Blue does have Blast's abilities, but this is like what it starts out as, just simple energy manipulation. And as Blast got older, more experienced, and more skilled, he was able to turn his energy manipulation into like straight up space-time manipulation stuff, which, you know, makes sense. If you can control energy, then you can control the cosmos. So maybe Blast, when he was like 16, the way that Blue is, this is what his abilities were like. And like I said, he eventually got to that cosmic level of power, or he was taught how to use these abilities in the way that he is now by the team that he's working with, who in the interim I'm going to call the Saints, because of what I talk about in the video I actually just made explaining God. I'll link that at the end of this video. But yeah, that's all I have for Blue right now. To be honest, we don't really know much about Blue yet, not even in the webcomic. So we're all kind of almost on the same level, at least with understanding how this stuff works. But let me know what you think about Blue, Blast, and how this all connects in the comments, guys. If you like the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.